Ever get that feeling like you stumble across something really interesting? A strange piece of art, maybe, or a quote that just sticks with you, a story you can't quite shake, and you just gotta know more.
I know exactly what you mean.
Well, that's kind of where we are today, actually, because you, our listener, brought us something pretty fascinating. A whole bunch of pieces, actually, all about this artist, Bob Camblin.
Ah, yes. Bob Camblin. A bit of a legend, isn't he?
Mhm.
Pretty well known, but there's also this air of mystery about him and his art. It takes so many forms, it's really all over the place.
Right. And it's not like his work is everywhere, which I think adds to that intrigue, that enigma thing you mentioned.
Absolutely. It makes you want to dig deeper.
Totally. So, what we have here, thanks to our listener, is a nice collection of, well, Camlin himself, his own writings, a peek into his life story, and even some interpretations of what his art might all mean.
A deep dive indeed.
Exactly. And I'm guessing, knowing you, you're after those key insights.
Right.
Those little aha moments that kind of connect the dots without getting too bogged down in the weeds.
Always a good goal.
So, our mission today is pretty simple. We're going to explore all the stuff our listener sent over and see if we can pull out some of the most compelling understandings of Bob Camblin, his artistic philosophy, maybe, how he saw the world, that kind of thing.
Sounds like a plan. Where should we start?
Let's jump right into some of his quotes, shall we? This one really struck me. Fortunately, some things remain forever, or another 10 years, perhaps. I mean, there's this instant idea of something lasting, something permanent, but then, well, 10 years.
It's that contrast, I think, that's so revealing. You get that bold forever, right? But it's immediately pulled back, almost like he's winking at you.
Yeah.
A sly reminder that even art, even the things we think of as timeless, are subject to time.
It makes you wonder what he considered truly lasting.
Doesn't it? Like what really had an impact for him, even if that forever is maybe a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Maybe. Then there's this one. 3 cottonwood trees, dense cluster of new branches. Now with them gone. Look. It's almost visual, isn't it?
Very much so. And in its simplicity, I think it speaks volumes. The trees are gone, but by mentioning their absence, it makes us consider what was there. It forces a kind of recognition.
And that sense of absence making something feel even more present, it's powerful.
Absolutely. It ties into this appreciation for the ephemeral, those fleeting moments and presences that gain significance because they're not permanent, like we see them more clearly once they're gone.
It's like looking through the lens of loss, in a way.
Beautifully put. And that brings to mind this quote. As they approached, the memory of songs and music stopped at the moment the texture of his decay became visible to them. Sad how we all aged to that moment in time. Salter Summer, 1967.
Oh, yeah. That specific detail. Saltaire Summer, 1967. It makes it so real, so relatable.
It grounds it, doesn't it, in a very specific memory. But what's so fascinating here is how he links something sensory, the joy of music, with this very concrete experience of decay and the awareness of aging. It's like the instant the texture of decay becomes visible, it acts as this trigger, abruptly ending the memory and bringing with it a shared understanding of time passing.
A shared moment of realization.
Exactly. And that specific time and place anchors it, making it both deeply personal and universally human.
I like that.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This one almost feels like a core belief. Look into the atom, you get what you need. Look into magic, and you get what you need. Philosophy and art are in both. It's like he's drawing this connection between, science and the mystical.
Precisely. He seems to be suggesting that both rigorous scientific investigation and exploration of the mystical, the magical, offer valid paths to knowledge and even fulfillment. And philosophy, art, they're the bridges, the languages we use to interpret both.
I'm seeing a theme here about not limiting ourselves to one way of understanding things.
Right. It raises the question, are these two worlds, science and magic, more connected than we often assume? It's something for you, dear listener, to ponder.
It is, for sure. And then there's this quote. I just love it. I will stick with common sense and try for the perfectly average view of the universe. I think that will let me enjoy miracles on both sides of science and magic and the nuances of the smear between the whiteness and the blackness and hope that I can be around when the two meet in the near future and we have an intensely bright gray. It's so grounded.
Yes, it's that deliberate embrace of the perfectly average that's so striking. Not seeking out the extraordinary, but finding wonder in the everyday in both science and the mystical.
And that intensely bright gray, it's like this point where those two worlds merge.
It is. It suggests a blurring of those rigid boundaries we often create, like black and white. Instead, there's this richer, more nuanced understanding where those distinctions dissolve.
A more integrated way of seeing things.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this one is short and sweet, but powerful. The sixth sense is to be, without a doubt, senza dubio, no doubt. It's all about conviction, isn't it?
Exactly. He's presenting absolute certainty, complete conviction as a kind of intuition, a way of knowing that goes beyond logic, beyond what we can prove empirically.
Like the power of belief.
Yes, and perhaps the self-fulfilling nature of conviction. And it's interesting because William James touches on this in some of the materials you provided too.
It's all connected. Okay, this one has a different feel. Bright day and I soar, how cruel that my soul is attached to this earth, and yet it's almost wistful, isn't it?
It is. There's a sense of longing there. It speaks to that very human tension between wanting to transcend our limits, that pull towards something bigger, even while we're grounded in the physical world.
That duality we all feel.
Exactly.
And now for something super personal. I cannot tell a lie to myself for very long. Camblin, 1974. Find something in nature that completes you and then surrender. Whoa.
Powerful, isn't it? He's emphasizing honesty, self-honesty, as a prerequisite for connecting with nature.
Like you have to be true to yourself before you can truly connect with something bigger.
I think so. And then that act of finding something in nature that completes you, it suggests this search for belonging, for resonance. And once you find it, that's when you surrender.
A beautiful way to put it. Okay, ready for a challenge? This one's packed. The light is all you need. The end is to evolve by doing the best you can. The means is to amplify what you're doing and believe. In the balance, patience and yet, freedom again and yet. In silence, the reality can be maintained. In the reality, the pain that I move away from, true love moves to indifference to protect itself.
Deep breath. Lot to unpack there.
Right, like a whole philosophy of life in a few sentences.
Let's break it down for our listeners. The light, it likely refers to inner truth, some kind of guiding principle within yourself. Then, the end is to evolve by doing the best you can. That speaks to continuous self-improvement through effort. And the means is to amplify what you're doing and believe. That underscores action and conviction. Then things get interesting. He throws in balance and patience alongside freedom.
And maintaining reality in silence.
Right. Silence as a space for processing, maybe for moving away from pain. And then, whoa, true love moves to indifference, to protect itself. That's a whole other layer.
It is. It suggests a complex understanding of love with this element of self-preservation built in.
Like love needs to protect itself to survive.
Okay, now for something truly wild. We have this extended series of thoughts, observations. It's almost overwhelming. It's like we're diving straight into Camblin's mind, unfiltered.
It's a bit of a whirlwind. But amidst the chaos, we see those core themes emerging again.
Exactly. And it's not just the grand ideas like the nature of art or the universe. It's also the everyday stuff, the mundane alongside the sublime.
And those subtle shifts in perspective. One moment he's talking about Icarus, the next it's Mother Nature, then a random event on the street. It's all interwoven.
It really mirrors the way our minds work, jumping around between thoughts.
It does. And despite the lack of structure, there are patterns, recurring motifs. The act of seeing, the limits of language, the quest for truth, acceptance of change, the role of the artist. That phrase, step off the train of thought, it keeps popping up.
Like a reminder to break free from conventional thinking.
Exactly, to look beyond the surface level.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that he references or alludes to other thinkers who explored similar ideas. That Zen proverb about knowing and telling, Bergson's ideas about intuition, Jung, and the unconscious mind, it's like he's actively engaging in this larger conversation.
His quotes aren't just random thoughts. They're part of this larger inquiry.
Precisely, and I think that's a great segue into his biography. Bob Camblin, born in Oklahoma in 1928, starts at the Kansas City Art Institute, has this life-changing experience in Italy with a Fulbright scholarship.
Goes on to teach, shares his knowledge at various universities, including Rice, right here in Houston.
But then, 1976, he makes a radical decision. He walks away from academia, chooses the life of a nomadic artist, relies solely on his art to sustain him, travels extensively, immerses himself in the world.
It's a testament to his commitment to his craft.
It is. And the fact that we're looking at these early drawings and writings from 1950 to 1974, works never intended for the public eye, it gives us such a unique, intimate glimpse into his development.
Like a behind-the-scenes look. And his philosophy that art should speak directly to the soul, it makes so much sense now.
Doesn't it? This desire to bypass intellectual analysis and connect on a more gut level, and his later explorations with Muja Volantes, those optical illusions, it's like he was engaging with perception in a more direct, playful way.
Always evolving, always experimenting.
Exactly. And he did gain recognition, of course. Charlotte Moser noted a distinct shift in his style over time, and Eleanor Freed highlighted his fascination with the cyclical nature of life.
Which, again, we see in his writings. That constant interplay of creation and destruction, beginnings and endings.
And we can't forget his collaborative spirit. B&E Productions, the holding firm, with Earl Staley and Joe Tate, signing their work as anonymous. That's a powerful statement.
Totally. It's like they were subverting the ego, focusing on the collective creative process. And those shows, the camping show, Joe Tate's Backyard, they sound incredible.
They do. And Earl Staley's account really brings their friendship and artistic journey to life. Their shared studio, Camblin's departure from teaching, it's all there. Even the description of his later Houston studio as this treasure tableau of objects, his Mr. Peanut persona.
It paints such a vivid picture of him, doesn't it? Complex, eccentric, a true original.
Definitely. Okay, let's talk about still life too. It's described in Zen and the Art of Enlightenment and in that YouTube transcript you shared.
This chaotic scene with organic and mechanical forms all contained within a glass jar. Earthy tones with pops of red and purple. It sounds both unsettling and intriguing.
It does, and it's been interpreted through both Zen and I Ching frameworks.
So what does still life 2 tell us from a Zen perspective?
It's all about that struggle for harmony within chaos, the interplay of nature and human-made elements, the mind trying to contain the boundless. That glass jar becomes a symbol of our attempts to impose order on something that's inherently fluid and ever-changing.
The acceptance of impermanence, interconnectedness.
Exactly. And finding beauty even in the midst of what might seem chaotic or unsettling.
And how does the King interpretation tie in? It relates to hexagram 49, revolution, molting.
Right. The merging, changing forms in the artwork, they symbolize transformation, the breaking down of old structures to make way for the new. The jar, containing a part of this upheaval, represents inner stillness amidst change.
And the advice associated with this hexagram is patience, careful timing during periods of upheaval.
Which makes sense, given the complex transformation depicted in the artwork. It's not a quick, easy process.
So both interpretations point to those core themes again. Impermanence, balance within chaos, interconnectedness.
They do. And the book reviews and forward add another layer. The review of The Art of Everything calls Camblin's drawings paradoxes made visible, blueprints for ideas.
And meditations on impermanence through illusion and visual traps.
That's a great point. And the forward from Zen and the Art of Enlightenment frames art history as something that resonates with Zen and I Ching principles. Intuition, interconnectedness, cyclical experience.
Art as a portal to heightened awareness, a catalyst for self-inquiry.
It's all about engaging with the art, not just passively observing it.
And then there are those personal quotes about Camblin, Pete Gershon, Georgia Jackson Jr., Earl Staley, Penny Serling, Carolyn Farb. They really bring him to life as a person.
They do. His questioning nature, his free spirit, the autobiographical elements in his work, you get a sense of his impact on other artists too.
Especially Earl Staley's tribute. You can feel their connection.
Absolutely. So here we are at the end of our deep dive, and honestly, it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
Bob Camblin's world is so rich, so thought-provoking. It really does invite you to keep exploring.
It does. And remember that idea. Art as a series of questions disguised as images. Well, what questions does Camblin's work pose for you, dear listener?
That's a great question to ponder. And here's one final thought, maybe a bit more challenging. Considering Camblin's nomadic life, his tendency to sign his work as anonymous, what does it mean to dedicate yourself to your art while seemingly detaching from fame and recognition?
What does it mean to create for the sake of creation, not for external validation? It's something to think about in the context of your own pursuits.
It is. Until next time, keep exploring those questions that resonate with you.
Happy exploring.